All right, guys, welcome back. We were watching Chainsaw Man, Season 1, Episode 8. Last time, Denji had his first kiss. It wasn't very good. I don't even want to think about it, honestly. It was very disgusting. I mean, I can't imagine how it felt for Denji, right? So, yeah. We defeated the Eternity Devil. And, stuff is going down with Himi now. That is for sure. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen, I guess, right? I mean, there's a lot of reasons you can imagine Dingy would end up regretting what might be about to happen, right? At the very least, just like the power dynamic thing. I mean, again, right? He's like 16, she's something, right? Like that alone, but also like just the way like Dingy is, you know? It's that kind of thing that like I don't think Dingy like thinks about. But I can imagine in the future it is something that could be brought up for sure if Dingy, if that's what the story's going, right? If we end up doing that, right? So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We're watching episode 8. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Emmy now talking, I believe. Yeah. Oh, this is when we're getting back. Yeah, she's Dingy on her back. I great. Why did she even bring Dingy back? Well, maybe we kind of know, right? We know what she's like. Interesting. No, her lying on top of him like that, I think that is an interesting idea behind that, I believe. Hmm. She's so drunk, right? So it's like I don't want to. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, it would be unfair to say that just because she's drunk, it's like she's not culpable for her actions, right? You know what I mean? But that's why she does it, right? That's why she gets so drunk, I mean. Hmm. It's like a nice place. Wonder how much you get paid for being a devil hunter, right? Probably quite a bit, considering people actually do it, despite everyone dying immediately. Hmm. Interesting shot. Ask her something. Were you? Were you? You won't be getting any water, unfortunately. Ooh. God, it's like the framing of these shots makes it so uncomfortable, right? But I think seeing like Dingy through her eyes is interesting. He's like so uncomfortable, you know? Can't blame him, right? Yeah. Although I just don't know what's going through his head, right? Why did you? I he certainly believes so. He certainly believes he is. Yes. Man, makeup. Yeah? You think? Yeah, like his man, we didn't see his face last time like that, did we? I don't remember, but that is very interesting. He must feel so man, want to do it. Will he want to do it? The sad thing is I think he will, but ah, where would that lead him? You know what I mean? Because God, because just every aspect of this, it's like so. He's completely drunk. He's so much younger than her. He's in it. She brought him back to her house when he has no idea where he is or anything. Right, her apartment, I guess. Right. Um. But knowing Dingy, knowing the way he thinks about himself and what he thinks he wants, I just find it hard to believe that he would reject her. That he would say no. You know. Maybe he would. Maybe he would. I just imagine he won't, and he's going to end up regretting it in the future, right? I mean, but I don't know. He does have a negative view of her after the puke kiss, right? But like not that much. You know what I mean? You know how dingy is, right? So I wonder. I wonder. I mean, it's obviously like I don't think it would be good if if he did. Right? So, hmm. I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I never realized that Aki does like the fox thing at the end of the opening there. The chair that is down. I that means something. That means something for sure, right? It keeps showing us that shot. One chair up, one chair down. Yeah. Oh. Oh, it's so uncomfortable, you know? Like, man, I don't know. It's sure. Is that something you even care about, though? Right? That's great. Yeah, yeah. Man. Oh. Oh, like his face there, right? Like I don't know. I don't know. So, okay. Oh, a what now? It's, I don't know, a lollipop, I guess. Right? Oh, back. Okay. Hmm. What does Makima have to say to him after that? Right? What happened with him, you know? The kiss? I see does not look good. Oh, is that what that is? Okay. Okay. Of course he would want to go to her for help, right? And she is going to want to shut that kind of line of thinking down, right? She's going to say the same thing or something similar to like when he touched Power's boobs and was disappointed, right? Oh, oh God, oh, the, right, right. The sad thing is of course, I think Makima is probably even worse than him, you know, right? In terms of like someone that Denji is, you know, uh huh. Of course, of course. Ooh. Okay, okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that he like justifies it in that way, that he thinks Pochita wanted it, you know? I think that makes sense, actually, yeah. Because Pochita's like this representation of like what he thinks he should want in a way, right? Like fulfilling like his promise to Pochita. Oh, what's up, Himi now? I don't know how to feel about her. She's like such a broken person, clearly, you know? Sure, if you say so. Right, right. It's kinda, yeah. Well, you did. He rejected it, right? Interesting. Are you relieved? I wonder. Yeah, yeah. I wonder. I wonder. She looks kind of disappointed, you know? Because I feel like that was kind of her goal in a way, right? Maybe. Denji's immune to that kind of thing. Yeah, He does not think about that. Come on. That's what he thinks. That's for sure. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like he just shuts down the idea of doubting it at all, you know. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. A super secret alliance. Exactly. Right. Yeah, yeah, because for her, Makima is kind of this thing in the way for like Aki too, right? She wants Aki completely reliant on her, right? Interesting that he takes that as an answer, right? Of course, because his reason for like Makima is similarly as hollow, right? Not that her reason actually is hollow, but you know what I mean, right? Okay, okay. I'm sure Aki would be fine with that, getting them out of there, out of his apartment. Maybe I don't know about that, right? Don't know about that. I wonder how she plans on fulfilling her side of it. You know, that was Makima. Okay. So why are we going to Kyoto exactly? I assume it has something. Yeah, the big shots, huh? Interesting. Wonder if it has anything to do with Denji. Seems like everything comes back to him. Yeah. Peaceful environment. Oh, okay. Oh, it's right. Okay. Sure. I don't believe Makima's dead. There's no way, right? Is she really? No way, right? Oh, look at her face. Commence. Okay, what the hell? Okay. Um, no way Makima's dead, right? But how would she not be, right? Oh, this music. Frozen. Ooh. Oh god. Guns. Why does everyone have a gun? What is like the gun devil? What does the gun devil have something to do with this? I don't understand. I can understand why people would want Makima dead, I guess, right? But okay, I literally. I thank you. Thank you, Power. What is happening? I don't say it like that. Was that really it, huh? Interesting. What a shot. Huh. Who are you? He sounded like Kishibe, but he's not. Okay. Kind of happened to Denji. Who are you? Oh, a member of the Yakuza. A necessary evil. Is it really a necessary evil, huh? How virtuous. I wonder, what does Denji think? Oh, right, of course. Oh, okay. He. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is okay. Right! What? Okay. Yeah, so it is the Gun Devil. Um. Oh. Nice. Oh, God. I. I mean, Denji's got to be fine, right? I mean, we've seen Denji get, like, destroyed. What about Himina, though? Yeah. Fuck. Oh. What is it? Okay. Right. Oh, just like so much like Denji, right? Yeah, neither human nor devil. Maybe a lot like Denji, right? Okay. Oh. Oh. Oh, nice. 3. So, this guy, what are we counting down to? With the sword, I assume, right? I mean, we've talked about the sword, how dangerous it is. Is it counting down to... Oh. Right. Oh. Right. I can't even tell what I'm looking at. Okay. We learned a little bit about that sword, huh? Curse. Oh, no way she's gonna die, right? Yeah. Well, the gun devil, I assume, right? Yeah. So this guy had connections to the Yakuza, the gun devil, what? Okay. The curse devil, yeah. Who are you? Are you? The, Oh. Okay. Sure. Great. So, okay, she can bring people back to life, I suppose. Something like that, right? Oh no. Oh, no way, right? Surely not. But where's Dingy? Can Dingy do anything? Okay, he's alive for now. Uh, anyone. Oh god. Of course she would say that, yeah. The power couldn't do anything, yeah. No. Oh, even it, yeah, yeah. But, oh, what do we do? What does she do, you know? What's going through her head? Give you all of me. Oh. Oh no, right? Of course. For Aki. Oh. Ah, okay. Oh god. Oh, Aki-kun can cry. Oh, yeah. Do they, though? No, they don't. You know that's not true. You know that's not true. Yeah, yeah. You were so against him sacrificing himself, right? Oh, but it's not like you ever truly got used to it. What, mourn your death? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But, God, that's just such a horrible way to look at it, you know? But of course she would, you know, after what she's gone through, you know. That what, in some ways, she's fooling herself that she has coped with it in any, like, good way, you know? Oh, just disappearing, yeah. But you're dying on him, huh? You want someone to remember you. Ah, Heavy. Snake. Oh, no way. Oh, was it just... Oh my god. All for nothing, too? The way it was, like, through her body, too, you know? Oh, really? Really? Man. Her eye patch. Yeah. Oh my god, what an episode. Was it really just all for nothing like that, you know? But maybe that makes sense. Maybe that makes sense, right? Awful. Awful. Lighting the cigarettes, walking through the cemetery. Man, yeah. Certainly feels like a send off to him, you know, huh? And it's like in the end, what did she live for? You know what I mean? What did she give up her life for, right? If she's really dead, I mean, seems like it, right? I'm just reading the lyrics. I want to read them. Oh man. I did not expect any of this, you know? Man, Kiss that melts down to nothing. My precious first death. Yeah, yeah, no. Oh, God. What an episode. What an episode. Man, that's like maybe my favorite episode. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, we'll talk about it in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. Um, I thought we were gonna have Himino around for like a while, right? I was really she was honestly like one of my favorite characters. I really thought she was gonna like be around, you know, we were gonna really go deeper into like stuff with her, right? Um, I would not have like when we started this episode, if you told me that Himino was gonna be dead by the end, I would not have believed you. I would not have believed you at all. Um, wow. Wow. I it makes sense, right? I mean, everything that happened like makes sense. Like for her as a character, I think it's very meaningful. Everything that happened here. I just would never have guessed this, right? It's so tragic in like so many ways. It's so tragic because it plays so much into the way that she viewed the world and the way that she viewed loss anyway, right? Like, um, the fact that it seems like, as far as we can tell from the ending here, that it seems like she basically died for nothing, right? That this stupid snake devil thing just ate the ghost devil and one-shot her, and it just didn't matter, right? Um, and I think that makes so much sense, like from her perspective, right? Like, think about what she has always said about all of the people that she cared about who died, right? She said, like, oh, they were just stupid and they died. They were weak, right? She writes all of it off and just says, like, you know, oh, they just died because they were weak and stupid and blah, 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 all of this, right? And I think that makes it easier to, like, cope with, right? Um, well, from her perspective, right, she would be like saying the same thing about like herself in this case, right? That essentially she had a death just like that, right? Um, obviously, like we know she's not weak and stupid for what she did here. I, despite how like horrible it is, her dying for like no reason, essentially, right? Emotionally, like of course we understand why she did what she did. And it doesn't come from a place of some kind of weakness or her, you know, anything like that, you know. Um, oh, it's just so like, oh my god, like she's always been so worried about Aki dying for like for what he cares about, right? His revenge on the Gun Devil, right? She's always been so worried about that, right? And now she dies for him for like, you know, the thing that she cares so much about, which is him, right? It's like it's just like this great it's like a great reversal in a way because it's like you could expect that their relationship would end in some way with like what Aki trying to fight the Gun Devil and dying, right? I'm not saying that it would actually happen in the story. I don't think that's where it would go. But I mean, like for her perspective, that's where she thinks it would lead to, right? But no, she actually ends up dying dying for him, right? Um, which like from her perspective is kind of like a good ending in a way, as horrible as that sounds, right? Um, because all that she's ever done, the reason why it seems like you know she's been acting the way she has like these dependencies on these things, and she's you know it seems like she has a pretty rough mentality about stuff, right? Is trying to avoid this kind of loss, right? Trying to avoid you know like she would literally rather die than see Aki die here, right? Like very literally, and she did, right? Um, it's just so sad. It's so sad because it's almost like it seems like she convinced herself in some way that she, you know, that she was like beyond this in a way, you know, that these deaths and all of this aren't affecting her as much, you know. Like if we think back to last episode, that conversation she had with Kishibe, and he said like, you know, oh, as long as you're still visiting these graves, you know, you're a ways off from being properly insane or whatever, you know. I mean, it just seems like with her attitude, her very, you know, like the way she just acts in general, like so like loose in a way, you know what I mean? Like not taking things that seriously, I suppose, right? It seems like a way for her to fight back against the idea of all of this loss that she's faced affecting her that much. But at the end of her life here, we see that she would literally be willing to die than experience that again, than experience seeing Aki die, you know? And the fact that it was for nothing in the end, like let's say in the next episode, Aki also just dies immediately, right? I don't think that's gonna happen, but let's say in the next episode, this stupid snake girl one shots him too, and he's just dead, right? From Himino's perspective, I guess if she was still alive, right? That would be like a better ending in a way than her being alive to like see it and experience the horrible grief of seeing him die, right? Um, which is just it's so sad. It's so sad, you know. And I'm not saying, of course, that she doesn't care about Aki, because of course she does. Of course she cares about Aki, and she wouldn't want him to die, right? But the origin of like the reason why she acts like this in the first place, why like all of her behavior is the way it is, why she did what she did here, essentially, is just not wanting to feel that feeling again, right? And at the very least, maybe it will make you feel better. It kind of makes me feel better slightly to know that she achieved something here, because at least she died before she has to experience more of that horrible feeling that she wants to run away from, right? Which is such a horrible way to look at it. But like, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? I God, just so so sad, so awful. I wonder, like, how is Aki going to react to this? How is he gonna feel about this, right? Because we have to think, right? Aki and Himino are very similar characters in the way that they their actions and the way that they are as people are so motivated by loss that they've had in their life, right? Himino has been so you know, focused on like the loss itself and like the way it's made her feel, the way she wants to do whatever she can to avoid feeling that again, right? So she cuts everyone off in her life. Essentially, tries to have like no relationship with anyone other than being completely dependent on one person, which is Aki. And as long as Aki doesn't die, it's like fine, right? Because if she tried to care about more people, right? Like think about her attitude in the last episode when they were talking about like that newbie who died or whatever, you know. If she opened herself up more and cared about him, right, then like that she'd be feeling that feeling, you know. So she wants to only be dependent on one person and just have that person not die, right? Um, Aki, right, his reaction to people's deaths that he cared about is like what? It's like a combination of like blaming himself in some way, right? Like for sure. I think that's what like this feeling of like revenge always kind of has to come from in a way for it to be like this strong of a motivator, right? Is he thinks if he can just get strong enough, if he can get strong enough to defeat something like that, then something like that won't happen again, right? Um but for Aki, it's not even as focused on like the future in a way. It's so focused on like the past, right? Like he just wants to kill the gun devil, right? Because of what it did, right? I mean, that's kind of the basis of revenge, right? Um, so you have to think. So now he's lost Himino too. What's he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna? I mean, we know what happened last time he faced all this loss, right? It completely upended his life. He decided his entire path in life is now decided on. He has to get revenge for his entire family dying, right? Um, so with Himino dead, I mean, what? God, I just don't even know, right? Especially because even worse in this case, potentially even worse, I suppose. It just depends what Aki's mindset is. Himino did directly die for him, right? And like this is a very direct situation where Aki could be thinking like, if he was stronger in some way, right? If he was able to just like have won here without her having needed to do this, then this wouldn't have happened, you know? It's so ripe for him being able to like blame himself for this and to fall even further down into this idea of revenge, even more so than before, you know? Um so especially because like it's like someone like Aki who's like lost people like this now several times, his family, Himino, this kind of thing, you know. It's going to be even harder in the future for him to like form any kind of connections with anyone or anything until in his mind he has like fulfilled his revenge and he's like strong enough for like this kind of thing to not happen again, you know what I mean? So I don't know. So like he's really gonna have motivation to want to kill these two now, right? Snake Girl and Sword Man. I just, man. And we get the shot of her eye patch, which I feel like you could really read a lot into what you want to say this eye patch like means, you know. Obviously in this case, it's a representation of what she's given up for like the ghost devil, right? At least that's what she said, is that in some way it's like you know, that she gave it up for the ghost devil, right? I mean, like what she said here is like the ghost devil could take everything from her, and you know, it very much did, right? Um so you could view this in a way of like her being willing to like what sacrifice things for, you know, for the purpose of why she sacrificed everything here, right? To to avoid loss, essentially, right? Um, it's almost like and in a way, it's like it gives me the vibe of it being like self-destructive, right? The way her behavior clearly is like self-destructive, the way she's been acting. Um, the way it's been compared to like cigarettes and like alcohol, right? Things that people generally recognize as like self-destructive tendencies to have, and her position towards relationships, towards like Aki specifically, right? Is kind of in that same vein, right? I mean, she ended up dying for it. You know what I mean? The same way that like cigarettes and alcohol can end up killing you in the long run. Um, it's such a horrible feeling, right? It's such a horrible feeling. Um, it's so bad. It's so awful. And the ending, it feels, I mean, it's a good send off to her, right? To get cigarettes in the cemetery, like just such a sad, broken person, It's so God, I don't know. Whatever. We talked about it. We talked about it. Let's go through the episode now. I have all this other stuff to say about Himino. I mean, like, it's not like there's no point analyzing her as a character now that she's dead, but I just, I mean, we're still going to. It's just so, God, it's so sad, so awful. God, what was the point of that deal she made with Denji? She's just dead now. Man, God, there has to be something there, right, about like her attitude towards Denji too, right? Like, of course, I mean, obviously there's something there, but like in terms of like the fact that it's like now that she's just dead, I feel like there has to be something more to it that I'm not thinking about. Man, so she brings Denji home, which immediately it's like, why did she even bring Denji home, right? I mean, again, it's like she's fucking dead now, so I don't even have the excuse of saying like, oh, I wonder where this is going. I wonder if we're gonna do something more with this. No, it's like this is all I get, so it's like I have to think of some kind of answer now, right? Um, I don't think everything that I was saying before is completely invalid. The idea that in some way Dingy represented maybe not a replacement for Aki, like perhaps, right? Maybe if he had gone through with doing it with her, right? If he had, right? Because of his attitude towards the Eternity Devil, because of all of that, right? Obviously, that's not where it ended up going, right? That's not where it ended up going at all, which kind of makes me second guess that interpretation in the first place, right? Um, but it is interesting the fact that she decided to bring him home at all, right? Because she does love hockey, right? And yeah, you know what I mean. Very, very interesting, right? You could almost view it. I almost wonder in a way, considering that she is so mad in a second, right? That she kind of vents about Aki being in love with Makima, all of this. I almost wonder if in a way she views this as like not like revenge, right? But like how she thinks it's so unfair that Aki has like feelings for Makima, or at least I thinks he does. I don't know. Makima's Makima, right? Is at least in some way infatuated by Makima or something, right? Um, that she thinks maybe she should do something with Denji. You know what I mean? I really love this shot of her lying on top of him. Um, because I think this so perfectly, like, this could be so perfectly symbolic of so many things about her and like her attitude about like relationships and people in general, and maybe like Denji specifically, right? Just like laying on top of him like this, right? Like not viewing him as a person at all, viewing him as like some kind of way to like cope with things in a way, essentially, right? That's kind of how she views like Aki too, sadly, right? Not that her relationship with Aki is like not deep and isn't meaningful, but you know what I mean, right? Like laying on other people like this, I suppose, is kind of the core of it, right? Like whatever you imagine you could take from that, right? Hmm. I don't know. And she's so drunk. She's so drunk. And I don't know what to think about it, right? Like I guess my and like she uses the fact that she was drunk later to say like, "Oh, I don't remember anything, what happened," right? But of course, I don't want to say that just because she's drunk, it's like she has no idea what she's doing and she's completely, I don't think that's the reality of it all. I think she's aware of what she's doing, right? And she wants to do this, right? She's using the alcohol essentially as like an excuse, right? Because she even says like, "Oh, I would have been real bad. I would have gone to jail for seducing a minor." Like yeah, right. Um, so she knows what she's doing. The alcohol is like an excuse. I think even thinking back to the last episode, that conversation with Kishibe, he was drinking too, right? she uses it kind of just like cigarettes too, right? Cigarettes are kind of like this connection between her and Aki in a way, right? It's a way that she keeps him like dependent on her too, having him be hooked on cigarettes, right? So alcohol is different because it's something that she personally very much has like a reliance on, it seems like, or it's like, yeah, she really likes getting drunk, right? Um, and I guess you can think of a lot of larger reasons why, probably the same way Kishibe was drinking, right? That it is like a coping mechanism in a way, you know. But I also just wonder if specifically here, she uses the fact that she's so drunk right now to, um, you know, do what she's doing here with Denji, right? It's like it's easier for like even herself in the moment to be like, "Oh, I'm so drunk right now." So it's like it's an excuse in the moment and later for like what she's doing, you know. And we get the shot of the doorknob. We get all of these very interesting shots in this episode, which I think they all have some kind of meaning to them, I'm sure, right? Like the shot of the doorknob, this at a very interesting angle. You can barely see like the handle of it, you know? Very interesting, you know? I feel like that alone, there's something to it, you know? And we keep getting these shots of the chairs, right? The one chair on the ground. Well, here I guess it's it's later, right? But the one chair on the ground and the one chair that's standing up, it means something, right? You can certainly imagine like something about it, right? One chair standing up, one chair on the ground, and we have a pair of characters here in the apartment, right? So you want to say in some way it's representative of like them or something about them, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. Like something I do think is interesting about that is in this situation, right? Like yeah, here's the chair on the ground, right? In this situation, um, despite Himino being way more drunk than Denji, she is certainly still the one in control, right? She is certainly still the one who, in a way, has more of a, more control over her actions almost than Denji does, right? Because Denji is Denji. He doesn't get it. You know what I mean? He wouldn't understand the potential consequences of if he had went through with having sex with her here, right? Like how could any like 16-year-old, I think, actually understand, especially someone like Denji, who is frankly very uh, emotionally and developmentally like stunted, right? Like I don't think he. So I almost want to say that Denji's the chair on the ground, right? You know what I mean? Hmm. And she thinks about how she was supposed to ask Makima something. Am I just misremembering? What was she supposed to ask Makima? I don't remember. I don't remember at all what she was supposed to ask Makima. If we heard about what that was, I feel it was something mentioned last episode, I think, but I just don't remember. I'll go back and skim through the last episode again. If it is something in there, I will find it. Don't worry. Anyway, we get the shot through her eyes walking towards Denji, which really, I think seeing it through her eyes really like gives you a different perspective of it, right? Because last time we saw it like kind of through Denji's eyes in a way, you know. Seeing it through her eyes is so different, right? I think it really paints the scenario in like, maybe not a different light because it's not like in the last episode it was painted in very good light either. Um, but it makes you really think about like what she's doing and the position she's in, you know, like whether she's drunk or not, you know. Hmm. And like God, the faces from Denji, they're so like it's actually so like I don't know. It's scary, honestly. You know what I mean? Like thinking about the position he's in. You know what I mean? You're in love with Makima, absolutely. Well, he thinks so, right? Even this, the shot of the makeup on the desk. Even this, it's like I imagine. I mean, there's so many. I feel like makeup can typically kind of be used as like a representation of a character, like hiding parts of themselves, something like that, like in stories, you know, which is certainly something that Hibito does, right? I mean, yeah, that's kind of her whole thing is hiding like her emotions and her grief over relationships and stuff, right? And her hiding it like makes it easier for her to deal with it, you know. She hides it from herself too, essentially, right? God, like that face, right? I just wonder. I don't know. I wonder what he's thinking, you know? How he really feels about the situation. I mean, the thing is with Denji is I don't think he knows how he really feels either, right? I mean, obviously, it's like he's Himino is a very attractive woman, especially to him because he's like actually in the situation right now. So I'm sure he just has a bunch of very conflicting just thoughts. Like and her looking at him like that, it's so unnerving, really. I wonder. Hmm. So she's very man, she we start the process here. I It's very interesting that she decides to stop. Um, Denji thinks my first kiss was with Makima, but this woman tainted it with puke. Yeah, yeah. And he thinks, yeah, do I really want my first time to be with her? And he's like, yeah, sure, right. But it's what's interesting is in a moment he thinks about how he thinks Pochita would have wanted to have sex with her, right? That he thinks that essentially in some way that he thinks he's doing this for Pochita, right? Um, which makes sense as like a justification, but I wonder if like deeper down, if in some way what did he promise to Pochita, right? That essentially, I mean, the promise was very vague, right? It's this idea that he's just going to go, chase his dreams, have this life that he wanted. Um, so I think in a way, this promise to Pochita, right, to pursue that kind of like happy life and whatever, has kind of just become a representation of like what Dingy imagines he should like want, or what that kind of like happy good life, what he thinks he wants like is. Which of course part of that would be, oh, there's this beautiful woman saying she wants to have sex with me. Shouldn't I do it? Of course he would think that. You know what I mean? Hmm. It is interesting that she stops when she pulls out this lollipop. I looked up the name of this. Apparently, that's just like the what is she? What's it? Yeah, a chupa chups. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how you pronounce it. Apparently, that's like the name of that brand. Which like I never knew that. I always just knew these as like lollipops. I never. I don't know. I guess I probably knew that at some point. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had one of those since I was like a kid. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. We get a flashback back here with Makima and Denji. And just like before, when Denji came to Makima with the thing that happened with power, right? When he touched her boobs, he was really disappointed, right? And in that moment, Makima tried to keep him essentially like she basically talked him down and was like oh, that wasn't satisfying just because of blah 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 blah, right? She kind of gave him bad reasons for it, frankly, right? Reasons I kind of disagree with, right? But it makes sense, um because I think her goal is to keep Dingy in that kind of mindset because it's so easy to manipulate him like that, right? And it's very transparently obvious that's what Makima is doing, right? um, it's very easy to, if she can keep him focused on that kind of thing, in this very like surface level mentality about what he wants and what he desires, right? It's so easy to manipulate him. And I think more and more, the further we get into the story, it's so clear that Dingy is very important. And is very there's something about him that is very special, very important, um, very powerful, probably, right? So of course Makima would be very interested in keeping him so easy to control and manipulate, right? Because the way he is now, it's like perfect, right? It's like a dream for her. It's so easy to deal with him, right? So of course, just like before, yeah, he talks to her about his first kiss being so awful and terrible, right? Am I always going to think of the taste of puke now? Anytime I kiss anybody, right? And from her perspective, right, like that has to be, she really has to fix that, right? Because if he starts thinking about that, then that'd be such an easy way for him to break out of like this motivation that's so motivated by like sexuality and all this kind of thing. Because his only options are if he started thinking like this, just like he was with power, right? The only place that would lead him to, right, is either he starts thinking of new goals and new motivations that aren't relating to like sexuality like this, which is such an easy thing for Makima to like abuse and manipulate him with. Or of course he just like gives up on everything and just becomes like nihilistic, right? Which is basically kind of what he was doing with after what happened with power, right? Um believe in him, and I believe, of course, that he would be able to find more meaningful goals and like more meaning in life beyond that if Makima didn't keep, diverting him back to that track, right? So of course she immediately, she a brilliant play here, right? Gives him his first indirect kiss with her. Perfect, beautiful, right? Hmm. And it's like God, it's like she understands him so well. That's like the scary thing is how good she is at doing it. That she knew that move right there would be this meaningful to him. That he'd be willing to turn down sex with him. Just because of this. So interesting. Hmm. First indirect kiss tastes like cola flavor, whatever. And he sleeps on the floor, which again, I mean, this kind of in this is in the same vibe to me as like her laying down on top of him, right? It's just this way that she essentially like views other people and that she views her relationships with them, right? As just like a coping mechanism for her, right? It's a very unhealthy way that she views like other people and like she essentially like wants to use others, right? She wants to use other people just as an escape for like those feelings, yeah. And she treats Dingy as such, right? Sorry, Pochita. Yeah, you wanted to have sex too. Well, first we gotta kill the gun devil, I guess, so we can have, yeah, great. Hmm. Food tastes great when you're looking down at people, huh? I feel like that is an interesting thing for Dingy to say. I don't know. Interesting line, I guess. Because I guess like it's deep in a way, right? Like well, just because I imagine like the idea of like looking down at people, not literally, but in some kind of like like societal sense, like status sense, right? Because Denji has always been at the bottom of society in every way, right? He still essentially is, right? It's not like he has any human rights or anything right now. They've explicitly said that, right? Um, so I just wonder what Dingy thinks about that. The idea of looking down at people like this, that food tastes great when you're looking down at them. Very interesting. Because I guess I just don't think Dingy, I don't know how aware Dingy is of like his position in society and like that being the like why people treat him the way they do, right? Like I don't know. I don't know. I wonder does he believe himself to have some capacity to like change his position in society, right? I guess that's kind of what it comes to. Was drunk last night and don't remember anything. Yeah. And just like she looks like disappointed, right? Of course she is. She's using of course like I that was the goal. That was kind of the plan, right? Especially because Denji like hones in on Makima too, right? Which is a sore spot for her because like Aki too. It's like she's very obviously like disappointed. Like of course, right? A normal person would feel awkward and leave right away. Denji is immune to that kind of thing. Like, come on, he doesn't know what being awkward means. Like, he has no idea. Very interesting, right? She asks him, "So you love Makima?" He's just, I was like, yeah. Even if her personality turns out to be shit, yeah, he loves her, right? No like deeper thinking about it at all, right? Because Denji actually does have like this very surface level infatuation with her that he doesn't understand on any level beyond that, right? So in a second, when like yeah, she's like, okay, we can form this alliance. You help me get with Aki, I'll help you get with Makima. And Denji asks her, "What do you like about him?" And she just says his face, right? Which is also just a very surface level, nothing answer, right? What's interesting about that is, of course, we know that's not true. We know there is more reason why she likes Aki than his face. I guess the interesting question about it, which is perhaps a parallel between the way Denji feels about Makima and the way Himino feels about Aki, is for Denji, Makima kind of represents like this like sexuality like angle. This the parts of his motivation that is so incredibly motivated by like the sexuality and all this kind of thing, right? Makima like embodies that for him, right? She's this very beautiful woman that he's so infatuated with and all of this, right? So that is the reason why he's so interested in her, right? He doesn't really have a deeper reason than that, right? Himino says that she's so interested in Aki for his face, which of course isn't true. That isn't the reason why. And you want to say that it's for a much deeper reason than that. But for the same way that Makima just fulfills like this sexual infatuation that Denji has, right? Like this sexual motivation for his life, Aki kind of just fulfills like this, this dependency that Himino wants to have. It really makes you think, like, especially considering what Himino was just trying to do with Denji, right? It makes you think, is Aki actually any more special for Himino than Makima is for Denji? And that's a horrible thing to say. I understand. Like, that sounds like horrible on the face of it, right? Because of course, right? Because they do have a relationship, like unlike Denji and Makima do, right? Like an actual emotional relationship, right? But in terms of the way she actually views him, right? As just um being this thing that she can be dependent on in order to avoid like the this horrible emotions that she doesn't want to feel, I feel like you can almost boil it down to like a very similar um basic function. The same way that Denji views Makima, the same way that she views Aki, Um which is interesting, right? Of course I'm not saying that her relationship with Aki was as surface level. I'm just saying the motivations behind it, it is interesting how you can definitely draw a parallel between Denji and Makima and her and Aki, right? And of course, at the same time, it's very interesting how Denji accepts that as an answer, right? Because of course he does, right? He like does he have any idea like what it even means to like be interested in someone, right? Beyond just like the very surface level. Oh, I like his face, I think she's hot. That's all he thinks, right? Of course. Hmm. It's like I guess I would say that Himino, even if her relationship with Aki in some way began with that, and that is what she wants Aki to like fulfill for her, that is the most important thing. And it is in some way like somewhat dehumanizing towards him, right? The same way she was almost treating Denji in this, right? Somewhat dehumanizing towards him in this way that he is kind of like the cigarettes to her, right? That he is just like this dependency that she wants, right? I think, considering what she does in this episode, being willing to die for him, even if that in itself, you can say, is just an example of her trying to avoid that feeling yet again, I think that alone, like, shows that there's more meaning to it than just that, right? Like, there has to be, right? That's such a sad, dark way to look at relationships if you say that her relationship with him wasn't in any way deeper, But I don't know. I would just have to think about it. Maybe that is like the reality of it, right? Hmm. Come over for breakfast once in a while, bring Aki in power. And Dingy thinks, I wonder if we can get Makima to come too. Very interesting. I don't think he would be able to. So anyway, crazy shit happens here in a second, where everyone pulls out guns and starts killing everyone. I don't know. I It's the gun devil, right? It has to be stuff with the gun devil, right? Like obviously, right? Because Aki thinks later on about how it should be so hard to get a gun, right? Where the gun devil is the gun devil. I'm sure he can just spawn guns in or something. Hmm. Makima said some interesting things here. She's excited to talk to Kyoto Big Shots. I wonder if it has something to do with Denji. Denji seems so important. Like perhaps, right? The booze last night was so good. Let me read these lines again, actually. Wait, no. I keep skipping the one I want to read. What time do we arrive in Kyoto? About 30 minutes. I'll be hungry again by then. Not very excited to talk to Kyoto Big Shots. No, here we go. And I prefer eating in a peaceful environment. Um, I just think this is an interesting thing for her to say. The reason why I think this is interesting is it makes me wonder. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It makes me think about last time she was eating, which was at the bar, right? Drinking all that beer and stuff with Dingy there, all of this. I wonder if she thought of that as a peaceful environment or not. Um, for some reason, I thought there was another line that made me think something about that, but maybe I'm just making that up. No, I don't know. I don't know. Because she brings up the booze as well, right? So I don't know. I don't know. Huh. Anyway, everyone pulls out guns and starts killing them. There's no way Makima's dead. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Especially with the shot we get of her face, right? Her little No way she's dead. I just don't believe it, right? The only thing is like, if she's not dead, then like, what the hell? What am I saying? Am I saying Makima's god? I don't know, right? I guess it wouldn't surprise me if Makima got some weird devil stuff going on, right? Um, to be in order to survive this, right? I mean, at the very least, I'm sure she has a contract with a devil, right? Just like the other devil hunters, right? And it wouldn't surprise me if that's how she ends up surviving this, right? Just there's no way she's dead, right? No way. No way. So we're all out eating together. Everyone has guns. Or it seems like specifically, everyone is killing the devil hunters, right? That it's like a coordinated attack on people from the bureau, right? Very interesting, right? Very interesting because of course they are like actively pursuing the gun devil, right? So is this all because of that? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, they're sitting here eating. This guy who is so this dude is connected to the Yakuza. He has this connection to the Yakuza alongside like Denji, right? Like that debt collector dude from episode 1. Um he's like connected to him, right? Um he's also like a devil human hybrid thing just like Denji because when Aki has the fox eat him, it says like, "Oh, I ate something not devil, not human, blah 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 blah," and he looks just like Denji, right? But he has swords instead. He's like Sword Man instead of Chainsaw Man, right? Um, which is crazy, and he's like linked to the Yakuza. So like, what? I don't know. Is the Yakuza gonna be more important than we thought? Right? Some kind of links to this weird devil's stuff going on beyond just like, doing it for money, what Denji was doing for them, I guess. Because like if this guy is so directly linked to the Yakuza and he's so similar to Denji, that really makes you think, right? Like I don't know. It's very interesting what he says here. Saying that like his father, a member of the Yakuza, was a necessary evil. I wonder what Denji thinks about that, right? Because Denji's thoughts on the Yakuza, I don't think he likes them very much, right? Although I wonder, right? Denji does, we know what Denji's attitude towards things is like, right? He doesn't think very much. um, so I wonder if his own thoughts on the Yakuza are even that, like, concrete, right? Because the Yakuza, just like Makima is now, were like his controllers for so long. I wonder. Yeah, so I suppose he was his grandson, perhaps? Yeah, yeah. That's what he says, right? The gun devil wants your heart. So the gun devil wants his heart. Is it just for the same reason the Eternity Devil wanted to kill him that we don't understand? Just something about what Denji is and what he's capable of that even the Gun Devil wants to kill him, right? Is even the Gun Devil scared of Denji, right? Or is there something that they can do with Denji's like heart, like literally? I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, Aki summons the Fox Demon or the Fox Devil, and yeah, something preposterous, neither human nor devil, and he's Sword Man. Denji pulls out the sword. I mean, not Denji. Aki pulls out the sword, which, as we know, like what did Himino say that it just does? It like cuts off part of his lifespan or something, right? Something like that, right? It's just some kind of negative effect on him generally. I guess we don't really know exactly, right? Hmm. And they have quite the battle. There's this weird like counting with the curse. Yeah, the curse sword or whatever, the curse devil, right? I guess you have to swing at them like 3 times or something, and then it just kills them instantly. But unfortunately, weird snake girl shows up and like revives him or something. I don't know. I don't know. The gun devil wants your heart. Yeah. Huh. And yeah, this is where he thinks about like everyone. He had a gun. It shouldn't be possible to get a gun. So it has to be, yeah, something with the gun devil, right? Yeah. The curse devil. Hmm. And she like revives him or something. So it seems like she has a contract with the snake devil. The snake devil being so giant and crazy kind of makes sense, right? It's interesting how there's kind of like infinite ideas for devils, right? Because there's so many things that you can say are generally like feared, right? Snakes are definitely a big one, you know? In that sense, like the snake devil just one-shotting the ghost devil kind of makes sense because like most people don't believe in ghosts, right? So them being like feared kind of makes sense because like yeah, right, but they're real. Snakes are real, and a lot of people are afraid of them, you know. So Aki gets like owned. He's not dead, thankfully. And this is where Hemnia makes her decision, which I mean we already talked about it, right? But decides to sacrifice herself completely. She looks down at like the blood in her hand, right? I wonder if she's thinking that like she's already dead, that that's why she can do it, you know? Or I don't know. I wonder. Obviously, I mean, the important thing for her is she doesn't want this to happen again, right? She doesn't want to see someone she cares about die right in front of her, right? Right? Like, of course, you know. God, and it's crazy how she says that, and the ghost devil just immediately just does it, you know? Like, yeah. Aki can cry, and she's so not excited, I guess. But she knows, of course, that Aki's going to cry for her, and she wants that, right? She wants someone to cry for her instead, right? Because she's done enough crying, you know, like, and I guess I understand that, right? Like, I understand how, like, through her experience, these people that she's cared about dying, it had such an impact on her, you know. It's like she wants to have that kind of impact on someone else, right? Like, I feel like I understand that, you know. Devil hunters quickly get used to those around them dying and stop shedding tears over that, which is just so cope, because, like, no, they don't. You haven't, right? You haven't. Despite what you're telling yourself, you haven't. But Aki cries easily. Yeah, he'll be happy to have someone. Oh, and her arm disappears. Finally cry for her, yeah. Hmm. Don't go dying on me, Aki. Because when I'm gone, I want you to cry for me. God, just so... So awful. So awful. Like, man. And then the snake one shots it. So awesome. The snake devil is kind of like horrifying. Its teeth are arms. So that's good. Sure. I don't know. Yeah. Insane shot here, which he says like withdraw, it just disappears instantly. And like, man, crazy. And she's gone. And she's gone. Well, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know. What do we do? Denji needs to wake up and get to fighting. Like it's, I don't know. I don't know. Really good episode. Almost certainly my favorite episode of the show so far. Like for sure. Like that was so good. That was so good. So good. Really rough. I just did not think Himino was gonna die. I liked her so much. Probably my favorite character, in the show so far. I really enjoyed her a lot. She was a very intriguing character, right? I guess that's it. I wish I could talk about more, but I think we covered it all. I think we covered it all. So yeah, please, if you enjoy my videos, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.